Hello everyone and welcome back to another fun vid on GarageBand for iPad. So tonight I'm going to be going through one of the missing features really of GarageBand for iPad, which is the lack of a master track. Back in the day when I used to use Ableton and Pro Tools and stuff, you could just drag a mastering plugin into the master track, do all your fade ins and fade outs and all that automation and everything just in the same project. So it was really easy. Unfortunately, you can't really do that in GarageBand for iPad. You can do it for GarageBand, the full fat Mac version, but not for the iOS version. What I have been using is another piece of software called Final Touch by Positive Grid, and that's a paid for app. To use that, you have to sort of export the project into Positive Grid. It's pretty clunky, and then it spits it back out again, and then you just do what you want with it. So, to be honest, wasn't really impressed with the results. And today I've just been messing about with manually mastering in GarageBand for iPad directly. Even without a master track, but there is workarounds to do it. So that's what I'm going to go through in this video. And to be honest, I think the results that I've got doing it this way are better. It's creating louder, punchier tracks more quickly, really, I suppose. And it's only going to get quicker. This is only my first time. So anyway, let's go, right back to the start of the mastering process. Okay, so say for example, I've got this song now, this project in our hands. I'm happy with the recording, I'm happy with the individual tracks, and I'm happy with the mix. So there's no one here, no one by my side. But let's not get into that right now. So what you want to do first is you want to make sure that the overall level is right. You don't want it too loud, otherwise, you've got nowhere to go, and you're just going to distort the signal when it comes to mastering. And you don't want it too low either. You want it, quite high on the loudest parts of the song. So what I would do first of all is just check your meter on the top of the screen, and then just go to the loudest part of the song. If we live or die. Right, so I'm happy with that. It's peaking, but it's peaking on only the very loudest part of the song, which is fine. Now, I've actually had a couple of attempts at this video where I've demonstrated the use of another app called Audio Share, where you can sort of export this and analyze the actual WAV file to see if it's the right level or not. But I can't do it with the screen share because you lose the audio, so it just messes up the video basically. So I'm not going to show you Audio Share, but I would recommend getting that app because it's just a good way of passing your audio files around and sharing them and just looking and analysing the files. And it's also a better way of trimming the files than just using the automation in GarageBand. But I'll show you how to do that later on anyway. Right, so we've got the track, we've recorded all the tracks, we've mixed it, all the levels are right, the master volume's right. Now, first off, if you're not happy, I am happy with that volume, but if you're not happy with the master volume, here's my first tip, right? So if you go top left, click on Effects, and then click on the mixer. Now, this is pretty well hidden actually. I mean, this effects track is used to sort of, apply filters and repeaters and do stuff for scratching and dance music and all that stuff, which I'm not really interested in. But it's there. But also you've got a visual EQ, so we'll just click on that. So this allows you to set up a global EQ, for the whole song. So this is in effect your master track, your secret hidden master track in GarageBand. Why they don't just give you a master track, I'll never know. But anyway, you can set a global EQ here, which we're not going to do. We're going to do that in the next stage. And also on the right hand side, there's a gain control. So say, for example, if you mixed everything down and it was way too loud, to save you just backing off all the individual tracks, you can just back off the overall gain here to get you a better level. Or if it's too quiet, rather than increase all the faders, just boost it here. But mine's fine, so I'm just going to leave it at 0. And then we're going to move on to the next step. I'll just come out of there. But anyway, that's a useful tip. Use the effects as your sort of virtual, I know it's all virtual, but your little secret hidden master track that isn't really a master track, but is. But anyway, I'm waffling. So what you would do is come out, hold down on there, share, song, use uncompressed WAV always, because that's the only way you're going to maintain the highest quality for your audio. And then we're just going to save the files. And this is the clunky part, I would much rather just have a master track and then just apply effects directly to that in the song. But no, you've got to export stuff and go through many steps in GarageBand. The plus side of that is this is just the final step. This is the mastering step. So you're not really going to spend all your time mastering. I would have thought you would have liked to have spent the majority of your time mixing. So anyway, we're just going to save that into GarageBand file transfer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new song. Audio, whatever, doesn't matter what you're creating. Go to the track view. And then if we go top right, we've got the loops. So let's just get rid of that, and that's what we need. I want to use that. Is it going to let us use that? I don't want to delete it, that's for sure. There we go. That was harder than I was expecting it to be. There you go. So that drags in your master track. There's your master track. Hooray! Now, take off that metronome, top of the screen. And then the plus icon on the right-hand side of the screen, just give that a tap and make sure, before you even import it, make sure that that's set to automated. Otherwise, it won't copy in the full audio file. So anyway, let's just give it a listen. There's no one here. So this is now your master track. Hooray! With no mastering effects on it at the minute. So what we're going to do is go to the track settings and go to the plugins. Now, first of all, this is the simple way of doing it. Okay. Now we can make it as complex as you like, but I think the best way is sometimes the simplest ways. So we're going to get rid of a lot of things from here. We're going to get rid of track reverb. We're going to get rid of overdrive. We're going to get rid of these, because these are the default sort of effects on a vocal track, which this is. Effects EQ, we're going to bend that as well. We're going to keep the compressor. We're going to keep the visual EQ, but we're going to place that first. And we're going to add one more thing. If we go to the audio unit extensions and go to AU peak limiter, we're going to add a limiter. We're going to switch them. We're going to switch them all on. Right. Actually, no, we're going to switch them all off, so I can show you what's what. So what you want to do first is, you've got this song. What I would always do is just chop out the very lowest of the low bass, because the human ear will just detect that as just rumbly noise. So that will more often than not clear up the signal. And what I also like to do, just to add a bit of brightness, just add a bit of brightness, add a bit of treble, which will just lift it a bit. So, and that's it really. So I'll turn it off and play. No one by my side. And then turn it on.
I've nothing left. I'm almost out.
So, you know, just doing that's, you know, made a big difference already. Just that one little step, just a little boost in the treble. That's all it needs. Now, next thing, now this is going to make a huge difference, is the compressor. So, I've only just been messing about with this recently, but what I've picked up is if you set that to around 5 dB, that's going to give quite a big boost to the quietest parts of the song, and it's going to increase the overall level of the song quite a bit. But on the other hand, it's hopefully not going to push it into too much distortion or any distortion. So I'll just give you an example of what that does. That's off.
But looking back,
On. Huge difference.
Things I love today.
And you may have noticed that's peaked now. You see that little red dot that's appeared. So the last step that we're gonna do to hopefully stop that from happening is just engage the limiter. And for this, just switch it on. I haven't made any change to that. I've set it's at 0 dB, which will mean it'll limit the signal to 0 dB. Anything above 0 dB is distortion basically. So you can experiment with this as well. You can set it to -1 dB perhaps, you know, just to make sure that it's not clipping. Or you can even just back off the compressor a little bit, you know, down to 2-3 dB maybe, which will still give you a bit of a boost, but not as much as 5. I quite like it at that setting.
But looking back, the things I love today, they're not coming back. I slowly fade away. But anyway, I've nothing else to lose.
And as you can see, it's not clipping anymore because that limiter has stopped it from clipping.
Seems to me as I lay on my bed, if we live or die, a way of lies in our hands.
Even when the drums come in now, it's not clipping. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So there you go. That's what you would do. That's your master track. Now I'll just turn that off. Now, like I say, I prefer to use Audio Share for the actual editing of the track, but I can't show you that now. So what I'll do is I'll just show you show you the automation that you would use just to do the fade in and fade out, for example. And you can just easily just do that in here. So say for example, why can I never do this? Right, we're just going to drag some of these over here. Copy. Paste. Right, okay. So anyway, let's see if I can do this. It's been a while. So there, that would be a fade out.
If we live or die, a way of lies in our hands.
There you go, it's fading out, you get the idea. So we'll just leave that for now. And also what you can do is you can just trim, sorry, not chop, it's a bad word. You just do your usual trims of the start and end if you want as well. And then when you save that, you've got your song, and then when you export that, share, song, it'll only export the actual the actual file. It won't export any of the quiet bits, if you know what I mean. It'll just do the actual file that you've got in there. So yeah, you won't have any dead space if you've trimmed it off. This is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, you would share it wherever you want. And that's it, really. That's the final step. Now, so what I also wanted to just show you is another little shortcut. So say, for example, this My Song is basically My Song with the mastering applied to it. Now, excuse me, you're not going to want to do that every single time, are you? You know, you want to have some sort of a template that you can come back to. So, you know, this could be my template now. So I've got that song in there, but I could just quite as easily just, I'm not going to delete it for now, but I could save this as a template or just rename it as a template. Yeah, and then just delete the WAV file out of it and then just copy in any other WAV files that I want to master and just reuse those plugins and those settings every time. Or, you don't have to use them every time. You could tweak them for certain songs. But anyway, what I'm saying is if we rename that to template, you know, that is now our mastering template. And we could just copy that to another song and then that would be our mastered song. So, there you go. Mastering is possible in GarageBand for iPad. And what I've discovered is it's actually, you know, I know there's a few more steps involved, but I think the results speak for themselves, really. I think it sounds much better than exporting into a third-party bit of software like Final Touch. I think you've got more control. You've got more options because you can drag in any plugins that you like. You know, you can even put a DSR in and stuff like that, or add distortion, do anything you want. But for now, I found great results just using 3 plugins. Because going back to it, a visual EQ, I think the order is important as well, by the way. A visual EQ first, a compressor, so a visual EQ to add a bit of sparkle, get rid of the bassiest of the bass, a compressor to boost up those quiet parts and, you know, overall just make the whole thing sound louder, which is always good, in my opinion. And also the limiter last, which makes sure that all that boosting isn't distorting anything if you set that at 0 dB. Now, you know, I'm no expert. All I've done is, you know, some slight EQ changes, one change to the gain of the compressor, and no changes at all to the limiter. But, you know, the proof's in the pudding. It sounds a million times better than the unmastered track now. And it actually sounds better than the original master I did using Final Touch. So, there you go. Try it yourself. It's not going to cost you anything. It's free. Yeah, like I say, I thoroughly recommend Audio Share. It's not that much. It's only £5 or £6. And that's got some great, you know, trim and fading tools in there, as well as, you know, you can analyse the WAV file. But I'm waffling again. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for liking and commenting and subscribing. If there's anything that I've missed out, drop us a comment. You know, any other little tricks to do with mastering, anything to do with GarageBand, yeah, just drop us a comment, get in touch. Like to hear from you. And I'll see you in the next one.